Yeah, I wanted to ask Tyler quick. What do you think about Josh Reed from Cincinnati? I don't know much about him, but our first transfer portal edition.
I don't know a whole lot about him either. I know we used to have a Josh Reeves at Penn State, which is kind of funny. We got another one coming, and he was really good. So I hope this one is as good or better. But that's a good pickup. I don't even know much about him. Is he?
He's a guard, 6'7", Atlanta native. I think just the limited role last season, but got going like 5 points per game, like just like a death piece at Cincinnati, I guess. But shot 85% from free throw line, 41 from the floor. So like okay numbers, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's nice when they come from good programs like that, and you like to think, shoot, if they were recruited Cincinnati, they're probably recruited other high level schools, and they're not just going to take anybody. I think Penn State's the kind of place where they really want to protect a little bit of their culture and just kind of who they bring in. They don't usually bring in guys that are like really iffy on grades because they don't want to be chasing them all over campus, making sure they go to class and have issues there. So that's cool. So that's their first one. I haven't looked to see any other guys recently who they brought in. I mean, I saw Indiana lost every single player. I mean, you're talking about building the team from scratch. It's almost like you're an expansion team. Holding open tryouts for the Hoosiers.
Because coach got fired or he left?
He left. He actually said that he was going to leave midway through the season. Or towards the end, he's like, "Hey, I'm winding down. I'm going to be done." And then either guys graduated or other new guys were like, "We're not sticking around to see. We're just getting out of here."
Well, he was getting older too, right? He was getting up there. So hey, I mean, Penn State struck gold last year with Conan Neunenizer, man. So he started coming on. So with him, he's going into the draft. But obviously, if his agent's like, it's not going to work out, then he can come back. So hopefully he comes back because we need him. So
yeah, I hope he will. I think he will, and
I think
hopefully he doesn't get bad advice. Like I think about Tony Carr a few years ago. For those who might remember him, I mean, he was a phenomenal guy, one of the top recruits ever at Penn State. Played really well here, and he left after his sophomore year, and it was like, man, you can still grow, you can still get a little better. But he had enough people chirping in his ear, "Oh, you're probably going to be high first round pick," or whatever they were telling him. And then he goes second round, but then doesn't even stick with the team. And that's just disappointing because, you want to see the guy do well. It's like, hey, man, you stick around another year, you're going to go higher, you're going to get more money, maybe you get a guaranteed spot, but second rounders aren't guaranteed anything.
One of my favorites probably in the last 6 years or so, Lamar Stevens, man, he was a beast too.
He was a beast. What a special guy, man. What a special guy. That guy was awesome and such a good dude. When I would run into him and I'd have one of my daughters with me, just so friendly to them and asking them questions and reaching out, and not everybody's like that, and it's understandable because they get so much attention and so many people want to talk to them. And so anytime somebody does kind of just spend that extra little bit, it means a lot to those kids and stuff. But yeah, he's a great dude. So glad he's done well in the NBA.
Yeah, he was on the Cavs, then he went to the Celtics, and then Minnesota. Is he on Minnesota now? I feel like
you might be right. I think I lost track a little bit. Yeah,
he's been jumping around.
Because he was doing well with the Cavs, and then Jalen Pickett. I can't remember if we talked about him last time. Oh my gosh, so happy for him! Got a triple double. I'm like, this guy's a stud.
He plays old man ball. He puts his booty into it, and he'll get around you, man. He's nice.
I'm like, why didn't I play that way, man? I wasn't fast. I couldn't go by. That should have been my game. I don't like. He's so good at that.
Wasn't it Tony Carr and Jalen Pickett, Andrew Funk? Didn't they all play together?
No, Tony Carr was a couple years before that with Lamar Stevens.
All right.
Yeah. Tony and Lamar and one other guy came in from the Philly area and really just kind of turned things around.
Yep. Big fan of Seth Lundy too. Big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, he really did well,
Brett,
and boy, he got a lot better too.
Yeah.
Brett, you may as well just stay on. He's going to be on here for 20 more minutes, Tyler?
Yeah. Sorry, can't stay on longer.
Tyler, real quick, Brett and I had a good laugh the last time we had you on because you were telling us that story about the Fab Five playing Sega.
Yes, all nighter.
And I was watching a video, didn't even hear what you said. Brett, I don't know what he was doing, but we did not hear you. And then you said the joke, and we didn't react at all. So that was our fault. But it was a good story, man. I was watching back through. I was like, man, that was a great story. I wish I would have paid attention.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, hey, that doesn't hurt my feelings at all, man. I got plenty of stories, and I'm always trying to make my girls laugh at home. I live in the house with how many girls? 5 other ladies. So I'm always trying to, just be goofy with them and make them laugh. And a lot of times you just get the side eye or the eye roll like that. That was not funny. But every once in a while, one will land and we'll all just be rolling on the floor, And a lot of times is laughing at dad, but that works too, man. It doesn't matter to me.
One of my mentors, he would always say, if I say a joke and it's not, he'll be like, swing and a miss. That's his thing. He'll be like, swing and a miss. And every now and then I'll land one on him and he'll like it. I told him, my buddy the other day, I was like, I have this one friend. I'm like, he always makes his bed and acts like somebody else made it for him. You made it, man. You gotta land it. You gotta land it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing the victim, something like that. So he laughed at that one. So
that's great.
Yeah. Tyler, have you spoken to Coach Crispin, Coach Rhodes recently? Have you been in touch with them at all and what they're doing and stuff like that? I just texted Joe the other day. So
yeah, I mean, I talked to Joe maybe a little more than a week ago, and we were watching some March Madness games together, which was fun. So that would have been maybe a couple weeks ago, but yeah, man, it's a crazy time of the season for those guys. Obviously, you think everything's crazy during the season, and then all of a sudden you're scrambling to put a team together and bring guys in, and it's what a wild world this is. Because even at the pro level, I feel like sometimes there's not this much turnover. You might bring in 3, 4, 5 guys, but some of these teams they had to bring in half the team. And it was funny. I was listening to an interview with Mike Krzyzewski, and he was talking about when he was at Duke, and he said, I knew how other schools were recruiting against me. And they would say, oh, if you go to Duke, you're never going to play. They have so much talent. And Krzyzewski goes, here's a fun fact a lot of people don't know. I never carried a full roster of scholarship guys. And I was like, I had no idea. But that's really fascinating that he was like, listen, I'm only going out after these select guys. And if I get them, guys are going to play. And I'm sure there were guys didn't play as much as they wanted, but there's only so many minutes. But it was really interesting just to kind of hear, something like that. And so, maybe that's something that those guys consider too. It's you don't have to fill out necessarily every scholarship. Now you want enough to be able to practice and scrimmage, because that gets annoying if you only have, say, 10 or 11 guys and 2 or 3 can't practice. But you never know. Maybe that's something they consider. It's not necessarily a loss if they don't fill 13 scholarships or whatever they're allowed these days.
Yeah.
When you brought up that's kind of negative recruiting, when they were oh, you might not, and they don't know for sure if oh, you might not play much over there. They're just saying that because they really want the guy. And that's something that Penn State prides themselves. They don't do that. I know football, they don't negatively recruit. They're super honest with the players. You might not start right away. You got to earn your spot. That's the way it should be. The negative recruiting thing, that's not something Penn State does. And, that's why I'm a big Penn State fan, because the tradition and, just the etiquette that we have here. So, or,
Yeah. No, I think, those guys they're grinding it out right now. I mean, if you think about what it takes to try and bring in just 3 or 4 guys. I mean, you're starting out casting a wide net. I mean, you gotta, because sometimes guys come from Texas, sometimes they come from Florida, sometimes they're just right here in Pennsylvania. But all the different things that go into recruiting, it's like, it's got to be just this unbelievable thing. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine, Jarrett Stevens, who's I played with at Penn State, but then he's also a scout for the Denver Nuggets. Okay. He's based out of Philadelphia. And the amount of money that like he spends on travel is crazy, and that's just one guy. And they have, a number of scouts. It's not like they only have like 3 or 4. I mean, they probably have, I don't know, 12 to 15 or something just for the Nuggets. And he's like, I mean, we have just data and info on like all these guys, and it just whittles down, and just for one pick sometimes in the draft. And it's wild, like how it all comes together. But if you guys, I don't know, ever have like a scout connection or something, that would be a fun kind of person I think to have on to discuss like how that whole thing happens, because a lot of people don't know like what goes on behind the scenes to actually, they're just like, oh yeah, top 50 guys showed up. But like, I think it's really cool to see how all that comes together, and like the different games that are played, and like things, and the plan that's in place. Like when our coaches were recruiting me back in the 90s, they had just this whole file, and like every phone call they had with me, they'd be jotting stuff down, boom, file it. Next time, hey, we got this, file it. And like, it was hilarious just to like hear about it and see how they did it.
Jared's probably a big Pickett fan then, because you said he's probably a big Pickett fan. Yeah.
Yeah, very much. And, really excited that he's doing so well. And Calvin Booth, too, is a Penn State guy out in Nuggets. But unfortunately, it looks like his time is coming to an end out there, which is too bad. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. No problem. Are you sick or?
Yeah, my throat's just been kind of scratchy. It doesn't hurt, but just I don't think I lost my voice at a Taylor Swift concert or something.
It's that time of year, man.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, Brett, about. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you got to talk to the coaches and you're staying in touch with them. That's good to know. The info that you gave us there, and Florida won, which is good, man. You were right about your team.
Man.
But Calvin Booth, your teammate, he was let go, and it is what it is. But he's definitely good at what he does, man. He won a NBA title, not a national title, NBA title. Yeah. So it's have you talked to Calvin at all recently, or?
No, I haven't. I'm a little closer with Jarrett than I am with Calvin, but when I was talking to Jared, and this was like before Calvin got let go and the head coach got let go. And it's just so crazy that NBA lifestyle and that NBA world, man. I mean, 1 minute you win the title and it's like, like you've been pushing so hard and doing everything you can to lead up to this moment, and you do it and you think, oh my gosh, like, and they still have great pieces. It's not like Jokic is gone or guys are like near the end of their careers or anything. But owners and presidents of basketball operations, man, they have very low tolerance sometimes for when guys aren't doing well. But that coach, he was there a long time. It wasn't like he was only there for a little bit. It seems like the Lakers go through a coach every 18 months or something, But that NBA world is crazy, man. Just how quickly things turn around. I'll be curious to see where he lands next. I mean, he's very, very good at what he does, and I think he's got an amazing eye for talent and fitting pieces together, and that's such a big part of it. I mean, you have to have good coaching and you have to have good players, but like you can't just always get like big name guys and expect it to work. Like I remember when the Lakers, they had like Kobe and Pau Gasol, they had Karl Malone and my favorite little point guard, Steve Nash. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I love Steve Nash. He's so fun and creative to watch. I'm like, there's no way these guys don't win. But then like they weren't even close to winning.
They were bad. That was crazy. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wasn't a good fit.
Yeah, it's great. So just really kind of having that feel and that sense of how guys fit together. It's really kind of an art form.
Like with Russell Westbrook, man, like people were saying he was washed, and like he was one of my favorites on Oklahoma City. Like coming out, I was a big Russell Westbrook fan, and then like he was just going to a different team every year, and like that's a lot to be the guy who's doing that. Like the team itself to adapt to, it's going to be tough, but you being the guy to try to fit into a new team every year, and then he'll find a team and he'll hit a spark, and then he'll be back to his old self. So you're right, finding the correct fit is definitely, it can be tough.
Yeah. So I don't know. Jokic is so fun to watch, and if you ever get a chance to see him play in person, like I have not, but I was talking to my buddy earlier this week when he's like, "Ty, man, I saw this guy on TV for a long time, and you kind of can't even appreciate how good he is. Like I saw him in person, it was just like he was blown away at stuff that he does. So." It's going to be a fun NBA playoffs. I saw somebody just got eliminated the other night. Dallas got eliminated. Boy,
it's like a broken record for them. They're always getting eliminated. So.
Train wreck.
Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is I didn't even know that dude from the Warriors. It was on Dallas.
Yeah, Klay Thompson, the shooter.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Finally.
Tyler, this picture right here, I'm sure you've seen this one before, but this is funny because it's true that kids today will see this picture and think it's fake. Because they were stacked, man. They were stacked. Yeah. I remember that.
Early in their careers, they were young, crazy talented.
Yep.
And did they make the finals, I think, and then win?
I think so.
I'm
trying to think.
I don't know. Because KD was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics, and they got this roster together, and then they moved to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
But they were good. I don't know if they made the finals or not. They might have. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch it like that. Like I would watch it and like was a big Russell Westbrook fan and stuff. But
yeah, and maybe just not enough basketballs to go around for those three.
Yeah. And then growing up, it was like Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. Like those are my guys. Obviously Kobe and Jordan was kind of before my time. So like in his prime, anyways. I was born in '91, so.
Yeah.
Tyler, you say about going and watching guys like Jokic in person and stuff. Do you speak to Rob Pelinka at all? You know him.
I don't. Yeah, I knew him a little more growing up because he went to my high school and he would come back and like talk to our school and kids in the area a couple times. Great guy. His dad was a teacher at my high school. I had his class, and his dad was a phenomenal guy, really funny. But I don't really keep in touch with him anymore. It'd be fun if I did. It'd be cool to hear what it's like being the head man of the Lakers.
Yeah, that's definitely good advice though, Tyler, about going and watching these guys like LeBron James, especially. It's insane how good he is, and he's one guy that will never be repeated. You know what I mean? Like he's just a great athlete. So to see those guys play in person would be cool. And you had a good analogy the other day about you were playing basketball at the IM building, and you said it's like faith. It's a team thing, and having a belief in who you're playing with, and you tied that into religion and everything. And yeah, man, it's like all these great athletes, Tyler. You got to take advantage of it when they're here playing, because You know, they don't come around a lot.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of guys that it's cool to see when you're physically gifted and you have talents, and then they just maximize it and explode it. And I remember I was playing over in Japan, and there was this guy. He was like 6'10", crazy good athlete, could jump, just strong muscles, everything. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to be fun to guard today. And he's over sitting on the bench, like during warmups, and everybody else's layup lines and shooting drills and everything. And the other Japanese guys on his team and maybe one other American. And I'm just kind of looking at him, and he never got off the bench during warmups. And I'm like, I mean, it's kind of a long season. I get it. And maybe it's a little different. Like NBA, that's a really long season, and maybe guys aren't going to, they got their own routines. But I'm like, dude, this guy doesn't even warm up with his team. And then he goes out and he kind of just coasting through the games and stuff. And like, he would turn it on and off here and there. Like, and he was really good. But I was like, man, this guy, why are you not in the NBA? And it's because he didn't have the work ethic. And I'm like, to me, that's like the easiest part that you control.
Yeah.
That's like the most basic thing. Like, I was fortunate to be tall and to have some good eye-hand coordination and whatever, but it was just like, man, I know I can outwork people, and maybe that's going to be my the way I succeed, because even though I had some things going for me, there's a lot of other guys that have that stuff. So when you guys got guys like LeBron, Kobe, Jordan that are just these killers that maximize not just like their physical abilities, but like work so hard at it, that's when you're like unstoppable, world class.
They check every box.
Yeah. And that, that's a great point. The fact that's their focus. Sometimes when I see you in the gym, I can tell you're like zoned in,
just for
like,
a short time. Just
I
for
can
a
see
short
why
time.
Tyler,
My competitive nature.
See why Tyler played professionally. But yeah, man, like Tiger Woods, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, like those guys, when people talk about Tiger Woods, my favorite athlete, and his focus, like he's not even on planet Earth anymore. He's he's totally in his own world. He's so zoned in. But
I think we can learn a lot from those guys, because when you can apply that to anything, whether it's like your job or your business, you're trying to grow a business, you're trying to grow your sales. If you're in sales, you're trying to grow your audience, whatever. Like when you just get so like dialed in and focused, locked in, like you're willing to do whatever it takes. And, to see what these guys are able to accomplish. And you hear these stories that are just legendary of how they just outwork people. And Steph Curry, to this day, he's the greatest shooter on earth, and he still puts in the work. He's like this, and you're just like, man, there's never going to be a day where this guy does not show up like ready to play. And that's what's really cool, like that consistency over a long stinking time. And I'm not like a huge LeBron fan, to be honest. Like, I mean, his talent is incredible, like amazing. Yeah, he definitely is a crybaby. Like, and listen, I don't have anywhere near his skills, but like that's just what I see. And it's like I don't know. And sometimes like, Jordan would complain to the refs and stuff too sometimes, but like for whatever reason, he didn't come off the same way that.
For him, it was a strategy. He was like, LeBron's he's a baby.
He's a baby. Yeah, he is.
Jordan, like he was doing it because it was like, all right, I'm going to get on this guy, and then I'll get on this guy, and then they'll talk, and then I'll get on this other guy, and then I'll have all three of them in my pocket. Like he was totally strategic on his end.
It was unbelievable. You talk about a mastermind of all that stuff, man. And testing guys and getting in people's heads, and like
it's crazy.
He was just the mental game. Like he always won the mental game. But I will definitely, my hat is off to LeBron. For 20 years. He's been playing with the best guys in the world. And I'm just like, that's remarkable, and the way he takes care of himself and stuff. Like the longevity is very, very impressive. And so like, for me, I'm like, shoot, I'm mid 40s. Like I want to be able to be like mid 50s and still playing. Who knows? Maybe even like 60, maybe 65 or something, and why not, because we're in a different world that knows a whole lot more about taking care of the body and long lasting recovery now.
Sure.
All right, Tyler, we got to hop off here. Got about 1 minute, but yeah, man, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you. Got to talk about some good stuff, but yeah, you were right about Florida, man. They won, so you
it was a lucky guess, I guess. I mean, I didn't see him play a whole lot during the season. I saw like a couple clips here and there. I'm like, man, these guys are good, and I kind of wanted to pick Duke because you got Cooper Flagg and he got like a lot of other talent around him. I'm like, I don't see how Duke loses, but sure enough, it's like one night anything could happen. You're not playing a series, but boy, there was some great games down the stretch in the Final Four and the championship for sure. So, well done, Gators.
Well, happy Easter to you guys.
Yes, happy Easter, fellas.
Happy Easter. Yeah.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, I got to go set up for it, so it's gonna be an all-day thing. But
you do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What do you do?
Yeah. I'm setting up. I'm setting up some tables and just getting everything ready. We're having people over, so
nice.
Not as big of a crowd as it could be, but because some people are traveling but yeah, it should be fairly tame.
Wait, where is this going to be?
Just where I live. Just where I live at my place. Yeah. So
cool. That's great.
Yeah, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. Yeah. So
awesome. Well, that's great, man. Yeah, nice time of year to kind of think a little deeper and be a little more thankful for all that's around us. And if you're a person of faith or whatever, I tell you, it's we went through this kind of, they call it Stations of the Cross or Way of the Cross, where you kind of go from like Thursday night to Friday morning of like the trials that Jesus went through and stuff. And it's pretty powerful, man. You see from sweat and drops of blood to actually being betrayed and all this stuff is pretty wild. So very, very thankful, and it'd be nice to go celebrate that tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah. Christmas is the biggest holiday because it's all the gifts and everything, but Easter is the biggest holiday, the most important holiday, because of everything that happens. And so definitely keep that in mind, people that are religious, and got to keep it in mind of what the meaning of Easter is. So
yeah, exactly. We all got to ask those questions. I mean, none of us are around forever, even if you play 20 years in the league, or even if you never make the league, it's like we're all just kind of a breath or a mist, I think the Psalms refers to it as. And it's like, it's so true. We all have people around us that we've had to say goodbye to. It's like, hey man, what's this really all about? And God says, Jesus says, hey man, you're with me. You're on the winning team, man. He'll never let you down.
That's right. Yeah, you always got someone in your corner